Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of The JG Show. I'm Joey Guden, and it is lovely to have you all back again. Thank you for listening. Today, I am speaking to a realtor here in Burlingame. We're going to be talking about all kinds of things. I'm looking very, very forward to this. Her name is Milana Ostroy. Welcome, Milana. I am so excited to have you in the building.
Hey, Joey. Thank you for having me. I'm excited to be here.
Awesome. So before we get started, because I have a lot of questions for you. Why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself before I get into that?
Oh, man. Well, I'm going to assume that you want to know about my real estate self.
Of course.
Okay. I've been a real estate broker now for over 25 years. I have lived and sold both in San Francisco and here in Burlingame on the Peninsula for over 20 years each. So I'm well versed in what people are actually doing. I've done it for myself, and I'm helping others do those life transitions as well. I help buyers, sellers, investors, first-time home buyers, people downsizing. It's usually some kind of life transition or investment. And I believe that experience is the best guidance to give you from the past to the future.
Nice. That sounds amazing, Milana. It really does. So, you are a realtor. What led you in the direction of a career like this? Like, how did you get started?
I actually didn't like real estate growing up.
Really?
And I was not at all interested in real estate. I fell into real estate by accident when life kind of put me on my knees when I lost my company, my best friend, and my boyfriend at the time at that young age. I pivoted into real estate after hearing a real estate coach talk, and her name was Lorna Hines. And I heard her story of being homeless and then becoming this top realtor. And I thought, you know what? I can do this too until I figure out my next company. And then when I started doing real estate, I fell in love. And it wasn't with selling houses. It was with helping people in transitions and helping people make the type of decisions that you can't afford to lose on. And so for me, it became my passion. And whatever I preach, I've done myself.
Wow. So I had no idea that you actually got started like that. So you didn't like it, and then you fell into it, and then it just kind of stuck, and you stayed in.
Well, yeah, I wanted to be a CEO like my father. That's how I grew up. And then I had a company from a very early age. We only had 6 employees at the time. So when I lost that, and I did real estate as a way of just making income, not because I was passionate about it, I became passionate about it so quickly that I never wanted to return to being an employer or leading any company. I just loved it. I'm a people person. I'm a relationship person. I love working with people. I love working with their families. Usually I get to meet the kids and the parents and the friends, and that is like a soul fulfilling part. But I've quickly learned that my gift is my ability to help people make good financial decisions and navigate through a very complex decision that involves finances, taxes.
That's very important stuff right there.
And that's what I know. That's what I live and breathe. So that's where I should share information so people have more certainty. I think the hardest part about real estate is that most people have uncertainty. There is no certainty in when you make a decision, and giving people that comfort, giving people that certainty, which is derived from
that.
Experience and expertise. That's what I do best.
Awesome. Well, that is incredible right there, because that's probably like the one thing I actually know about real estate myself is that there's a lot of uncertainty. And so to be that beacon of hope, to be that person that helps them feel more comfortable, that that in itself is incredible.
Yeah.
So, what is like, and you may have already answered this, I don't know, but I'm still going to ask you anyhow. What is your favorite part of this job? Like, what is like, what out of all of this do you get? What like gives you the most satisfaction? What's your favorite part?
My favorite part is seeing my clients enjoy their lives. Honestly, like I said, it's not about houses. The house is the vehicle, the vessel.
Yes.
It's not what I'm selling. When somebody buys a home, they're buying a lifestyle. They're buying
Correct.
proximity. They're buying ways that they're enabled to live because of the way the home is laid out or where the home is located or whatever amenities the home has. And so seeing them shine and thrive in that environment, that is great purpose. For when I work with investors, seeing them gain investments and be so happy that they made these great decisions and look back and call me and say thank you, like that is everything to me, because I have now changed the trajectory of their lives by increasing their wealth base through these transactions. So, I become lifelong kind of like a wealth advisor, but I just don't touch stocks and insurance, right? I do real estate.
Exactly.
I do residential, commercial, duplex, multifamily, you name it. I've done some pretty interesting deals.
All, basically.
Yeah. So that is really like what I love doing. Recently, I moved a great family from San Francisco to the peninsula. This is
really?
a great example.
Okay. Tell us.
And I, the wife was not so happy about moving to the peninsula. The husband was open to it, but didn't really understand why I was pushing them so much. They had just gotten married and were planning to have a baby.
Ah, okay.
And this Father's Day that just passed, they had a baby, and I wished him a happy Father's Day. And he wrote me the best message I could receive from a client. He goes, "Thank you for pushing us to be in Burlingame. Our lives have completely changed and we can't imagine any other life. We are so happy here. We could not even imagine how great it would be to be here. And you did that for us." That is the kind of things that I love doing. And that's how I have, 100% loyalty.
That's beautiful, honestly.
That was a great example. And I just got that text yesterday.
And congratulations to them on the baby, by the way.
Yes. Super cute.
I don't know you, but congratulations.
Yeah.
That is spectacular, Milana. I mean, just hearing what you just told me, I mean, honestly, it's like my family can almost relate to this in the sense that I'm as many of my fans do know, I'm in the house that my mom grew up in. I'm actually sitting right here in the bedroom that she had when she was in high school.
It's crazy.
And my grandparents, they immigrated to the United States my grandfather came ahead, my grandpa Leo on my mom's side in 1958. He came out here and saved up enough to bring my grandmother out in 1959. They got married in New York. And then for their honeymoon, they took a cross-country road trip to see where they were going to settle. They traveled all the way from New York to here. They
Crazy.
Landed here in Burlingame, California. They looked at different houses. They went through a couple apartments when they first got here, and then they eventually bought this house in 1965. And the number one reason they picked this exact house that we're sitting in is location, 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 even back then, because we're right next to Washington Elementary, Washington Park, Burlingame High School, the train station, the grocery stores, downtown. I mean, there's so much that is walkable right here in Burlingame. And anybody wondering why, this is such an expensive place to live, that's exactly why. It's the location. That is everything.
It's
the
location,
proximity.
Great schools, great
Yes.
weather temperament.
The weather's incredible
We have
here.
one of the best parks on the peninsula.
Yes, we do. I can definitely agree with that.
We have great sports program. Our high school has a great honors and AP program.
Yes, they do.
Our Burlingame Avenue, our downtown, people travel on the weekends to our downtown from all over, from the city, from the peninsula.
They pull
It's
in here
us
from everywhere.
or Palo Alto. Those are the two main hangout areas. Our downtown is very European. Our streets are very flat. We're a very green city.
Oh, yeah.
We're proximity located perfectly in between San Francisco and Silicon Valley.
Yep, that's right.
So, we have so much to be grateful for here.
Heck yeah.
That keeps the prices higher. But it's a great area. It's a great area to raise a family.
Yes, it's a fabulous area to raise a family. I mean, when you really look at it, just the weather alone. I mean, the fact that it can be, and I have seen this happen, it could be Christmas Day. The sun is shining and it's near 70 degrees. That happened in 2022. That within itself is crazy.
Yeah, we have great weather. We don't usually get super hot like they do in San Jose during the summer.
One or 2 days out of the year, maybe.
Yeah, but not comparatively. And then we are, probably on average 10 degrees warmer than the city.
That's right.
We're past the fog line, so we're not drowning in fog normally. So we've got great, kind of mid-range weather temperament that holds all year long. Yeah,
we sure do. Yeah, and that's right. The summers are pretty cool as well, which is nice. So, you have, as for what I know, you've got a really, really big family, and I know many of them personally, and you also, you have your real estate job. How the heck do you manage all of this, and what is the greatest reward in it?
Well, I mean, people talk about balance, but I think the reality is there is no balance.
Aha.
I don't think it's possible to truly balance. I am a big believer in habits and systems. Systems is what helps me to be more efficient. There are days where my family wins more, and there are days where my business wins more. The key, what I think I prioritize is helping, is having my family, especially my children, watch me succeed, but know that they are my first priority.
That's important right there.
So, yes, I work sometimes 7 days a week. Some weeks are harder than others in terms of work, and some weeks are lighter, right?
Yeah.
But I take advantage of every moment that I can. And if there is a game, if there is a show, I don't know, like they're putting on a play, if they need me somewhere, I'm always there. I never miss out. That's one of the things that I love about my job is I'm able to plan around it. So even though that is not required of me on a consistent basis, when there is something, I always show up where it matters. They always know that they're my number one. And watching them watch me succeed and work is the most important thing for me, because I am raising independent, successful humans. I don't want them to rely on anyone for anything. I want them to be self-sustaining, but in order for me to do that, I have to be their role model.
That is that is so important right there. I mean, but the fact that you still show up for them, that piece right there, that says everything I need to know about you, and that is incredible. Like, I mean, that's fabulous. And the fact that you're able to still do it all, to me, that's incredible. And, the thing is, I think you and your sister, who I know very, very well, you guys have both, I'll just say this on the air, you guys have both done a great job raising those kids. I mean, I can see it. They're so poised. They're so charming. I mean, it's incredible, honestly. And I think that if you guys are listening, I think you guys are all going to be successful. I feel it.
Thank you. I mean, that is the most important thing. I think the biggest thing you can judge a parent on is their children.
Yes.
Right? And that is hard because this job is demanding 24 hours a day from the moment that life enters. You can't fire yourself.
Exactly. It's nonstop. That's it. That's how I feel since we've gotten our dog. I'm going to be honest.
It is very similar. I do have 2 dogs. I love them tremendously.
They're adorable, by the way.
They're
huskies, right?
Yeah.
Just like mine.
Yeah,
Except
which is
mine's
a lot
puppy.
smaller.
Yeah, mine's a puppy.
Mine's are mini, so they're a lot smaller. But I will say that like I have taken my kids to tour houses. I have made my kids sit with me at open house. When I had my baby and I had no childcare, that baby was with me at open house, and that's
What else are you supposed
to do? Because I don't think that there's anybody better for all those listening out there and questioning whether they should hire, mothers or not, because there's a different expectation when you're hiring a father versus a mother.
Oh, yeah.
People don't fear that the fathers won't show up. People fear that mothers won't show up or that pregnant moms won't show up. And here's the thing. I've been pregnant 3 times and I literally gave birth. The next day I was at a listing. I gave birth to another. The next day I was at a showing. Like,
whoa, okay.
It does not stop just because. It's just that we integrate it into our lives. And
that's right.
I think for all those listening, there is nobody more motivated and working harder than a mom who wants to provide for their children. So I would rethink twice when that thought comes into your mind.
Good advice, Milana. And I hope that all you guys are listening really, really take what she said seriously. Because she means business, trust me. No, that is actually, it's so true. It's so true. But you see, I myself have never ever looked at a mother and saw her less valuable than a father. I think that is ridiculous. I'm going to be honest.
It happens a lot in our industry, and our industry is very heavy on women,
Yeah, they are.
And
that's not a bad thing.
That is a challenge that I had. I mean, in the beginning of my work days, I used to hide that I was pregnant because I was afraid people wouldn't work with me because people are like, oh, she's pregnant. She's not going to have time, or she's not going to feel well, or she'll give birth and then she's going to take a few months off.
That's just discriminatory.
Well, I mean, because in the corporate world, that is acceptable behavior. But when you're an independent broker, an independent, independent contractor, you can't take those days off and get paid.
That's
so
right.
Either you're motivated to work or you're not. And I'm just one of those people that I can't be an all day stay at home mom. That's just not who I am. I'm very driven. And so for me, being able to do both has been great. And, that's why I think I think there are a lot of moms in the industry that are like that don't need to take 3 months off just because, someone may or may not pay for it. And I think that's just kind of the work ethic in the employer world.
Yeah.
That's the expected, way. But when you're independent contractor, it's not.
Totally. What were like some of the most memorable, pivotal, funniest moments in your career or life that maybe not many people know about that you're comfortable sharing, of course? If so, like, what are they?
Oh, man. Well,
I know it's a tough question.
That's a wide open. I mean, okay. Funny moments. I learned very early in my career that when I walk into a house, I yell hello at least 3 times to make sure, because I walked in on people having sex once. And
wow.
I was new in the business, and I had opened the door.
And they were having sex,
and
really?
It was supposed to be a vacant property. And it was just like, I was just barely learning to use this little keypad that they gave us back in the day, because now we're by phone. But remember, when I started, there, internet wasn't out. We used a book for maps. There was no navigation system.
It's a different time.
It's a very different time, right? And so we had this little box, and the box would like Bluetooth with another box.
Yeah.
And I opened the door, and so I had to deal with that. And that was shocking for me.
Wow.
And also, I am the person that is in control. Like, my clients are looking at me to advise them.
Yes.
So I can't just be like shocked and what do I do?
You got to stay in control.
You got to stay in control. And I was young, and also so that was pretty funny. Another time is
That's funny.
my thing was not working in my lockbox.
Yeah.
So I just decided to climb a gate in heels.
You climbed a gate in heels?
For sure. I totally hopped a fence, went to the backyard, went through the doggy door.
We went to the doggy door.
And definitely got my clients into the house. I mean, if there's a will, there's a way.
Yeah.
if there's an open window,
My
an open
grandmother
door,
used to say that all the time. Where there's a will, there's a way. She raised me on that.
yeah. And, I happen to do everything in heels, and I try, and I'm okay to crawl through small spaces if need be and things don't work out. Obviously, I'm not breaking into houses. These are houses for sale.
Because that would be illegal.
Vacant. But, that's definitely happened in my career. And we've definitely laughed a lot about that with clients.
Yeah.
Because they're like, wow. I've had some interesting learning lessons in real estate that I think really changed the trajectory of my career.
Yeah? Let's hear it.
My very first listing.
Oh.
My very first listing,
Your
I
first
went
listing,
after
okay.
an expired listing that 5 other agents tried to sell.
Oh, wow.
But I had nothing to lose, and I was brand new in the game. So I went door knocking.
You went door knocking.
And I went to this specific listing.
Okay.
And when they opened the door, I said, I'm not here to take a listing. I just want to know if you're still interested in selling. And if you are, I will show the house.
Okay.
So because I didn't want the listing, he was nicer to me.
Ah.
Right? So I did that, and I started showing the house, and for months. And then eventually he's like, Milana, I want you to do the listing. And I was like, no, I don't want the listing. First of all, I didn't even know how to do a listing.
Ah, okay.
But this was not any house. This was on Robler in Hillsborough, and it was $5 million. It
was $5 million, really?
20 years ago, right? We're talking 23 years ago.
So you're talking like 2003?
Yep. Anyways, he did make me eventually take the listing. What's interesting about this particular listing is what he didn't tell me is he stopped paying the mortgage.
Oh.
And when he stopped paying the mortgage, there was these investor predators that were writing him letters about how they're moving their family to the area and they want to buy the house. Right? But I didn't know. So he got a letter. He sent it to me. He's like, here, call these people. I called the people and they, seemed regular buyers. We got into contract and then I realized they were scammers and I realized he wasn't paying his bill.
Oh, wow.
Because I had to pull, when we opened escrow, it came on the escrow that an NOD was filed, which is a notice of default.
Ooh, okay.
Which was filed. Now, in the midst of all this, I'm holding open houses. So I see sometimes the home is wrecked and I'm thinking what's happening? But, nothing major. Then I get notice that my client got arrested by the Hillsborough Police Department for hitting a Hillsborough police officer.
He got arrested for hitting a Hillsborough police officer?
Yep.
I wonder why he did that.
So now, and you imagine, right? I'm super young. I barely know how to do a listing. And here I'm faced now with a foreclosure. I'm faced with bail being recorded. What is that called? So there's a bail and a lien. Oh my God, it's escaping me right now, but a lien for bail. He's in jail, so I have to go visit him for documentation and paperwork.
Oh, wow.
His wife is out of jail, but then she tells me she's about to file divorce.
Because he's in jail?
No, because apparently they were having problems.
Oh, okay.
So I walked into a messy listing.
Yeah.
So let's go over this again. We have bail bonds. That's what we're called. We have bail bonds now. We have a foreclosure. We have a divorce. And now I had to add a BK in order to stop the foreclosure while he was in jail.
Okay.
So the wife filed BK to stop the foreclosure. Meantime, I have these scammers that I'm in contract with who are not paying the initial deposit. So I had to cancel that contract and basically resale the property.
Yeah.
Again.
That's crazy.
And so I ended up selling again, and I had to go to bankruptcy court to allow the sale to happen because they have to release it from bankruptcy in order to do that.
Ah, okay. All right.
Then I had to get the bail bonds released. Then I had to get the mortgage paid.
Many, many steps.
And this was all my first listing. So talk about learning curve for the rest of your life.
Yeah.
This was probably the most unreal transaction that I ever dealt with. It didn't end after the transaction though.
No?
Nope.
What happened next?
I got sued.
You got sued?
I got sued for quote unquote the money that these scammers would have made if they flipped the property.
Wow.
So imagine, and I'm young and this is my first listing and I already got sued. So, some people would get super scared. I was like super fierce. I said, no freaking way. They're scammers. I asked my broker to have faith in me. I had a great file. I kept every email. We went through 2 years of litigation, and 2 years later, after selling my first listing, I am in court on the stand.
Okay, so now you have to testify.
And now I'm testifying in front of a judge.
Okay.
And so this is like the wildest story. And when I'm on the stand, the two people that purchased the property with me, one was the supposed buyer and one was an attorney that said he was a real estate, representative.
Yeah.
So when the attorney was asking me questions as I'm on the stand, he'd be like, oh, did you present your business card? I would be like, are you asking if I presented my business card to you? And then he would say, yes. So the whole testimony was like that. And halfway through, the court stopped the trial, arrested the buyer, and offered me a free ticket to Harvard Law.
Oh, wow. So at least the court took care of you there.
The court took care. We won hugely.
That's awesome.
But that's a crazy story to have as a first listing.
And like to start to have your first listing like that. Yeah, that is crazy. That is nuts.
That's a wild one.
But you know what though? You freaking navigated it all. I mean, that's what impresses me. And you were much younger back then.
Yes.
And you had all these things being thrown at you, but you still zigzag right through it.
Yes. And so that's where, that's the experience that I'm talking about. That was just on one deal. I mean, I can tell you deal after deal.
Yeah.
I have very few that are the easy ones.
But
like
imagine.
my favorite was, I helped a couple that had been together forever and they were navigating divorce. And I had to sell their home, and the woman, was very sad and afraid, and the man was very angry and afraid. And I got them to go on board with each other for the best sale of this house.
Yeah.
By giving them certainty and direction in a very emotionally troubled time, and won both of their trust. It's a very hard thing. Like,
that's an amazing
when
thing
you
to do
help
right there.
people through divorce, this
hard.
is the most important part, because every party thinks that whoever the other person is working with is working against them.
Yeah. Because usually it's like, like attorneys and this and that.
Yes. But when I come in as a real estate agent, I'm coming in and I am advocating for one good outcome for the both of them. And I don't have any other ill intention, but it's very difficult. And this is where, there is a difference in who you work with, in getting both people on board to the line, and then having them, focus on where they're going, and having that certainty that everything's going to be handled, and them trusting. That is a huge thing in a divorce situation. Also, having someone who, who's been through it and knows how it works, I think really helps a lot, because people's expectations on timing and how the courts work are really off from actual reality.
Yeah,
so,
totally.
Since I have been through it, it's been a big help in helping clients, because I'm like, when they're like, oh yeah, we're just going to list the property in like a month. And I'm like, I hope so, but realistically, we're probably talking 6 months to a year out,
Totally. It takes a while to make those things happen. I know the courts move slow, especially in this county, because not to go off topic here, but I mean, I've been through it myself when my uncle was falsely imprisoned 2 summers ago.
Oh, wow.
Because of my crazy neighbors. They made up a lie and they tried to put him in jail. And so he sat in there. He was wrongfully taken in, and he sat in there for like 3 months, and we had to go through all these different hearings. All had to testify, this and that, and it was quite a ride. It was quite a ride to get him out.
So yeah, I mean, these are the things that really matter. There's all these things, a beautiful house, a nice car. All of those are just moving parts to life. And when there is transition in life, there is uncertainty.
Yes, that's right.
And people need people who know what they're doing to add certainty so they can make confident decisions in moving forward. There's a lot of noise in the market, in our lives, social, and there's a lot of distraction and chaos. So I always say,
it's everywhere.
I bring clarity from the chaos. So that's That's really what my job is.
So that's what we all need, honestly.
Yeah.
I think if we all had that, people would be much more relaxed and not as crazy.
Yes, that's what it
crazy
is.
mentally.
Yes.
I don't think, honestly, we'd have as many. I honestly don't think we'd have as many nutcases if we had more clarity. Yeah. Well, that is all absolutely fabulous, Milana. If I have a few more questions for you, if somebody, especially someone getting into real estate, or even just any like mother or woman or person was listening to this show, right, listening to us right now, what advice do you have for them? What advice do you got for my fans?
If they were getting into real estate?
Yeah.
New. The best advice I would give is to find somebody that you want to be like, that you respect, that has your same energy, that has achieved what you want to achieve, and mentor with them. One of the things that I wish I did, which I think would have progressed me faster, is if I had a mentor. Instead, I just jumped all feet in naked, like, here I go and hope I can swim. You know what I mean? But I think now, especially, it's such a changed business. I would start on a team and just try to start not to find work, but to learn.
Okay.
And once they learn, just remember that when you're looking at real estate and when you're thinking about selling real estate, it's actually nothing to do with real estate and homes. It's all about giving people a lifestyle, direction, guidance, clarity, removing uncertainty, giving them confidence.
Yeah.
And the best way to learn how to do this is to actually do it. And I don't mean spend time on, the documents and the contracts. I mean, actually learn from someone how to be that person for people. This is a people business. This is not a paper business.
Okay.
And I think a lot of people, are confused about that. The other thing I would say, as our technology progresses, it will, there's a lot of talk about how we're going to be replaced
by AI. Yes.
By AI. And I look at this so differently. And I have interacted with AI just as many in the Bay Area. But I'm going to tell you guys something. Outside of the Bay Area and main metropolitan areas, people aren't even on ChatGPT. They live a completely different life.
Especially in the rural areas.
We think everyone is in AI, but that's not the reality. But what I want to offer your audience is that AI is there to increase our human potential rather than replace.
That's right. That's what it's supposed to do.
And so I don't have those same fears that are being projected through news channels and media channels, etc. I am more like, okay, great. Which tools are going to help me be more efficient so that I could do more with more people for more people?
That is really important and amazing advice right there, because many of my fans and many people in general are freaked out about exactly what we were just saying here. And Milana, I absolutely agree with you. I too don't see AI nearly as big of it's a big thing, but I don't see it as the threat that most of these guys see.
Do you remember when the internet came out?
Do I remember when the internet came out?
Early 2000s.
I might have been a little too young for that because I was born in 2003.
Okay.
So I don't think I was alive like in the early 2000s.
There was a huge fear about the internet. And people took a long time to adapt. And, is it even safe? Where is it? How are we going to be able to navigate it? I will never forget. Before the internet came to the real estate industry, real estate agents, except for myself, felt that their value was information. Can you imagine? So that's
nuts.
That means that agents would withhold information from their clients in order to secure their commissions. Okay. And a lot of them, and I was different because I've never, it's not that I didn't value information. Never felt that the information that I had was the value I was going to deliver to my clients. So I never withheld it. And me and agents were always at heads. They're always like, why do you give out this information or share the home or the address without getting, your commission secured? It was a big thing. But then our industry changed when the internet came out, and, information became readily available. We had the MLS centralized system, and that changed the way agents had to bring value to their clients. It wasn't about the information anymore, right? And then it switched to marketing and negotiation. And right now, a lot of it is visibility, right? Does the property, it's still marketing, but there is I think the most expensive thing out there today is the visibility time you have with consumers. And I think Gary Vee really hit this on the nose many years ago, way before it even blew up like it is today.
Yeah. Oh, all righty. Well, that is nuts. I mean, so you're basically, essentially, it's almost like the way my generation's experiencing AI is what you guys experienced when the internet first came out.
That's what I'm saying.
In a different light.
And there was a time when, I don't remember if the New Year's of 2000, they thought the whole internet was going to shut down.
My mom has told me about that story, like so have many others that experienced that. It was they called it the Y2K bug,
Correct.
I believe.
Correct. So there's been a lot of fears around that. Because the year was going to
turn 2000 and everything was going to crash and all that. I remember when the Mayans were saying the world was going to end in 2012. I do remember that.
Yes. So we keep going. Things are adapting and changing. AI does have scary capability. However, I think those who embrace it instead of ignore it will probably do better in life in the future.
I wholeheartedly agree with that, as I myself have used it for many things in songwriting and production and many of the things I've done. Even when I've even used it, not exactly to write these shows, but to help me write some of these shows, figure out, what are the best questions to ask and yada, yada, yada. There's so many, I started using it in 2023 when it first kind of came out. And I definitely think it has come a long way since then.
Oh yeah.
The thing is that I had no idea how powerful and capable this thing really was until probably in the last year. I would say I've really mastered it. I've trained a couple chatbots and this and that. I've trained ChatGPT. I've trained Copilot and this and that. And now it's probably one of the most helpful tools I've ever had. I'm going to be honest.
Yeah, it's extremely powerful. I think, a lot of humans are feeling overwhelmed.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of different tools and there's a lot of different things it can do. I think understanding that you can't have AI do something that you're not already doing.
Exactly.
You can't just you're going to go into a black hole.
Yeah.
You really need to hone in on what it is that you're doing repetitively and see if AI can help you do that more efficiently.
Okay. No, totally. I mean, it doesn't, how do I say this? It's not going to do all that stuff itself. You gotta tell it what to do. I mean, That's the thing. Are there any outside of this is something I kind of always love to ask all my guests when I have them on, outside of real estate, right? Are there any special hobbies or interests that you have that maybe not many of us know about or do know about, but if so, what are they?
So I have spent a bulk of my adult life, really advocating for women in business, women in leadership.
Yeah. Which is
helping
amazing.
Battered women, helping women in divorce.
Ooh,
I mean, I've helped
fabulous.
men too, but I'm just a big proponent of seeing others rise and succeed. So I have spoken on many stages. I truly enjoy that.
That's awesome. Public speaking, kind of.
Public speaking.
That's awesome.
This is my second year serving as the Women's Council of Realtors president.
That's right.
And
congratulations for that.
Thank you. And, that is true passion of mine. So, the other things I do are personal development stuff. Like when AI comes out with new stuff, I might take some classes. I like to self-educate. And And if it's for fun, my biggest fun in life is spending time with my family and traveling. So travel for me is
nice.
That's my happy place.
Traveling's your happy place?
It is. I love to travel.
I need to do more of that.
I feel like it impacts who you are, how you interact with others. It's just something that experience is irreplaceable. And worth more, I'd give up all my money in the world to spend my entire life traveling. I think that's, not that I would ever do it, but whether it's, having a diamond ring or a trip to Europe for 2 months, I'd go to Europe.
You go to Europe for 2 months. Yeah. You'd rather. So what you're saying is that if you had to choose between putting your money into material possessions or travel and experiences per se, you'd much rather do that, right?
Absolutely.
Honestly, I didn't used to be that way when I was younger, but now I feel the exact same way.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Because I think as my mom always has told me, traveling really does change the way that you look at the world.
It does.
It really does.
It does. And you can't replace that. There's no memory. You can't build the same type of memories. You can't build the same type of bonds when you meet people, when you travel, or when you travel with your family. It's a different level of experience.
It is. And I think it also, and then to do it with your family, that's a whole nother, that's even better. I mean, that's a whole nother thing. That's amazing. And I think the other thing that traveling does do is I think it's also important because I don't know if you've had this experience yourself, but I think it also for us Americans, it really, really makes us realize just how great we have it in this country.
Yeah.
In a lot of ways.
That's why immigrants are so hardworking, like my parents and your grandparents.
Totally.
Is because they value the opportunity to be here. I think a lot of people who don't travel outside the U.S.
they don't see
it for granted.
They do.
Not as a judgment statement,
no.
It's natural, right? Like if you grow up
because they haven't seen anything else
in an expensive household with a silver spoon, you aren't going to value it as much as someone who grew up poor and got to that.
Exactly. Because
that's just human nature.
If you've been given everything your whole life, that's just kind of what happens. But, I think the thing is that, like, my grandparents, essentially, my grandfather immigrated here from County Longford, Ireland. My grandmother came from England. And they totally had that attitude when they got here. And they came here with practically nothing. I could just say that. And they built this empire that I'm sitting in right now. It's pretty amazing.
Yeah.
Where did, if you don't mind sharing, where did your parents immigrate from?
My parents were from Odessa. And Odessa is the Black Sea, which back then when they were there was Soviet Union. And today it's known as Ukraine.
That's right.
But when they immigrated in the late 70s, before I was born.
Okay.
And they also, came here with pretty much nothing. And
start from the bottom.
Yeah, my mother worked at McDonald's to gain language skills and have a job, and my father went right away to an engineering firm and literally worked for free. He didn't have English. He just said, I work free, so that they would give him an opportunity and hopefully hire him. And he was very genius. And after a couple of months, they did hire him, and very quickly he became CEO with very little English. Because he was that good. And then he was CEO to CEO. And my mom, she then transitioned into selling for Merrill Lynch and things. But they all started doing whatever they could to make ends meet.
And look what they created.
I'm very proud of them. And they instilled because I grew up at a time when, they didn't quite make it. I think that is why I'm so grounded and so grateful for the opportunities that came my way, for anything that I've made. And, that journey I've been very humbled on, because I didn't come at a time into their lives when things were great. I came at a hard time. And I love that. And that makes you stronger. Makes me stronger and made me work as hard as some of the immigrants that just immigrated here, just with a little more education and language.
Wow, that is an incredible, incredible story right there. It really is. That's just amazing. It really, really is. Well, Milana, I have to say, we'll cut this out. Don't worry.
Sorry.
It's all good. I always do these things in post-production. It's no big deal.
Okay.
Anyways, Milana, I am so very grateful that we got to sit down and have this conversation today. I mean, this truly is, and I'm just going to say it, honestly, you are one of my favorite guests that I've ever had here in the studio.
Oh, thank you.
You're welcome, Milana. You really are. I mean, this is just a fabulous conversation. And, before I give my little closing remarks here, I should mention, speaking of, women empowerment and this and that, you, Milana, are the first female guest that I've ever had on this show, like in person in the studio.
Woo-hoo!
So congratulations to you for that.
Thank you.
So
I'm
very
honored.
excited. Yep. You're I've interviewed several women before, but those were virtual interviews. You're the first one I physically had here. So that's amazing.
Awesome. I'm happy to be here.
Thank you. Well, Milana, it's been absolutely fabulous to talk here with you. I want to thank you so much for your time and coming on here and, talking to me. Next up, our next episode of the JG Show, we will be interviewing Monterey track star Jake Santana. We are so excited to have him on. If you are interested in being on my show or know somebody that is, please contact me at jgshowofficial@gmail.com, or you can hit us up on our Instagram and Facebook handles as well. Thank you all for listening in. Thank you, Milana, for being a part of this as well.
Thank you, Joey.
You're welcome. That's going to be it from here, you guys. Until next time, JG Nation.